Before coming on to the parawise discussion of the moot court proposition, let us first see certain basic thumb rules that every law student must follow in any given moot court competition, and I have noted down them for you in this screen also. The first rule is always dress perfectly. See, 90% of the things are not in your hand in a moot court competition when it is being judged, but there is at least one thing that is in your hand, and that is how you appear. So let's say if you're a man, and so therefore you must necessarily wear a full suit with the tie and your hair made and your buttons are all buttoned up, and you should be at least dressed perfectly. Similarly, if you're a female, then you can see your moot court competition rules, and whatever is the best attire as possible, whether it be a suit or a sari or even a suit for you, then you can wear that. But always go for perfection in dress, and that is very much appreciated by everyone. The second suggestion is that moot court competition is essentially a game of time. So therefore you will not get any chance to do everything that you intended. So therefore whenever a judge asks you a question, you must answer it succinctly and clearly. Your answer should be brief, not elaborative. Say as little as possible, but still having said everything that needed to be said. So therefore you need to be giving answers that are complete but are as brief as possible. You don't need to be beating around the bush. No one appreciates that. The third suggestion is that more important than arguing your case is your answer to judges' questions. See, that is the most fundamental mistake that every law student commits. They have their own moot court proposition with them, their memorial with them, and they have in their mind thought that okay, I'll go with this first argument, the second argument, but when they actually reach the moot court, then all of their planning are devastated because the judges keep asking them questions and keep throwing them off their game, and that is also the intention of many judges. But still you must understand that your primary objective is to quench the thirst of the judge. If he or she is asking you any question, then that is more important than what you have prepared, because the marking will not be given by a robot who is scanning your memorial, but by a human judge who needs to be satisfied with his or her questions. The next suggestion is that you should not waste your time by giving an answer which you for sure 100% know it to be false, or that you don't know. So therefore don't waste time, just accept your ignorance. Say that, my lords, I am sorry, I plead ignorance on this aspect, but however I can say this. So just accept your ignorance and move on, and don't waste time, because judges will find out whether you are practically bullshitting them or just beating around the bush. So don't do it. The next suggestion is, that is my fifth suggestion, that you must greet the judges. So whenever you come to any moot court competition, always greet by a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening, or whatever it is, and then move on to the next thing. The sixth suggestion is that always ask the judges whether they want to actually hear the facts or prayer, right? So I'm not saying that either or, but when the time of facts come, that is in the beginning, do ask them, if my laws are well versed with the facts, may I please move on to the issues at hand. So therefore you also kind of showing your inclination of moving away from the facts and going into the issues, because as again you don't have enough time to do everything. Similarly, there are many judges or many law schools who have been saying that okay, you must always read your prayer, and I'm sorry, that is not the case. In some cases the judge don't want to hear your prayer, as it is not a very creative process, because the prayer are always the same. So you don't need to reinforce your commitment to the prayer. If the judges say that okay, I don't want to hear the prayer, I will read it, then simply accept it and move on. The seventh suggestion is, be charming and don't be tone deaf. It is correct to say that everyone cannot be charming, and charm cannot be learned in a day, but at least there must be some basics. That always smile, never be rude, and never be tone deaf. Try to catch the sarcasm of the judge and never reply in sarcasm, but be honest. A judge always appreciates an honest petitioner or a respondent who is accepting of his limitations and faults, but still stands his or her ground and thereby never being rude. The next and final suggestion of this video is that whenever the judges say something that you know to be true, that is going against you, then don't fight it. Accept it, but don't accept it completely, but accept a slightly milder version of that. Then add but and then your argument. So that is a mathematical formula kind of. So I'll just give you an example. What do I mean by that? For example, this moot court competition is concerning genocide. So if the judges say that you have committed genocide, then don't say yes to genocide. But yes, it is a fact that people have been killed. So accept that. Say that, my lords, I do accept that there have been unfortunate killings. However, I would not term it as genocide, and then state your argument. So therefore, whenever a judge is pushing on something, always accept it, but accept a slightly milder version of the judge is saying, add but, and then your argument. I hope these suggestions were useful for you, and I'll bring you more suggestions in the next video.